Thank you for watching. If you like my content, I would love for you to support my Patreon page. Starting as low as $3 per month, you can contribute to my media. Contributions allow me to upgrade equipment and more time to dedicate to bring you up-to-date videos and merchandise. Click the link below in the description to get started today. And again, thank you so much for supporting me all these years.
I am that dude so pippin' what's crackin'. General on deck, so salute me, Captain. Never mind the hottest on the radio, sucker case the numbers on the beat. I'm a bad mother. I rock the mics when I step on stage. Still that nigga, leave the crowd in the daze. They look at me, I can tell they amazed. The ones that cannot do me are the ones that hate. I move the crowd like someone sprayed mace. Put me on blast, I'm heading straight to your face like what? I thought so. You don't know I spit that hard geometry, that's why I'm beast mode.
This is my third actual response to this subject. I keep making them and I keep deleting them because things keep popping up and I feel like I need to add on to it or change my opinion. My first response was kind of towards DL because I felt like what Monique said was, I took it for gold. But then I said, let me wait and see what DL's going to say because I know DL's going to respond to this. If you're living under a rock, basically Monique and DL Hughley did a show over Memorial Day weekend in Detroit. There was a dispute over, now I want you to pay attention to this. There was a dispute over who was the headliner. I guess Monique had in her contract that she printed up with her business that she was the headliner and it was signed off. DL Hughley had the show, basically the order, I forgot the name of it, show memo or the demo, the contract memo. Basically is the contract, but it's not the contract. It just kind of outlines everything that he asked for just to make sure, deal memo, that's what it's called. And he showed that, he also showed that the deal memo was printed up the day after her contract was signed. So, now, you would think that two professional comedians at their level could discuss this in private, figure it out, and go on with their lives. Or, even if they couldn't come up with an agreement, if there was contract signed, there's attorneys involved, there's litigation, there's all types of things that can happen. You would think that, but that's not what happened. They started going back and forth, starting with Monique actually blasting him on stage. She blasted him, she talked about his support dog, called him gay or tender, basically said he's gay, talked about his wife, talked about his children, and so I found that kind of weird, but she was angry, and I felt like if DL was acting like a bitch, then that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I still stood by what I said. I said she was wrong for that. Let's see what DL has to say. DL came in, and the next day on his show, well, he addressed it that night. I didn't see that till like a little bit after what I was about to say. He addressed it that next day on his show. And basically he said that she didn't come to him about no contract. She didn't say anything to him. She basically went on stage. He said he didn't even see her. She went on stage, attacked him, and this is clearly an issue with the promoter. This has nothing. DL said he got everything he was supposed to get in his contract, and basically she should take it up with her management. If you don't know, her manager is her husband. I say this time and time again. Nobody in the industry should make their wife or husband their manager unless they have prior experience in the business. A lot of couples will get married and they want to put their spouse in a position to help their career. You put their career on and it ends up hurting them or it hurts the marriage, you know? But, so, DL said what he had to say. They were posting contracts and deal memos. It was a back and forth thing. DL did say some stuff that cut deep. He said that Precious was an autobiography of Monique instead of just a movie. Which Precious was kind of an autobiography, if I'm not mistaken. But he basically said this is the picture of Monique's life. He also said she's the queen of ashes. Monique went and dissed him and said that he was basically, he He opened for the Kings of Comedy. She closed for the Queens of Comedy, which till this day, even back then till this day, I felt like some more should have closed. But that's just me. I understand that Monique was the bigger star out of the four because Monique was on the Parkers and she was doing movies, so she was the bigger star. But she was no Bernie Mac. In the Kings of Comedy, you understood why Steve Harvey was the host at the time. You understood why DL was the first act. And honestly, DL didn't open for the Kings of Comedy. Because I remember hearing a story about a couple of comedians that were on the tour. You know? And Steve Harvey was the host. And DL was the first act, then said, and then Bernie closed. But they understood how that was because Bernie was killing it out there. There was no way anybody was going after Bernie. But I digress. So, I'm going to tell you what. This video has turned into a very upset person in me. So, I went on my Instagram today just to kind of, check for something. And somebody had tagged me. You guys have started tagging me more in things on Instagram and Twitter, and I appreciate that. And basically, they were like, look what she said about his daughter. I said, wait, what? And I know she said some slick shit about his kids, but basically, Monique made a whole post on her Instagram where she took a clip of his interview from Sway in the Morning. DL was on Sway in the Morning, where he was talking about making the mistake of not believing his daughter when she said that she was sexually assaulted by a family member. Now, this kind of hit home for me because while my daughter, I was not ever in that position to where my daughter has came to me and said that somebody sexually assaulted her. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was put in foster care. It wasn't my fault, but I was too young and ignorant to know the system, and I ended up losing access to my daughter for about 8 years. And my daughter is 22 now, and we are in contact, and we are very close now. And we have let bygones be bygones, but it still kills me every single day that I am not able to get that time back with my child. It kills me that I was not more protective over her. Because she was my baby. At the time when this happened, she was my only child. I have more kids now, but she was my only child. And it kills me and it hurts me every single day that I was used by the system and I lost my daughter. So, even though these are two different scenarios, you could tell in his heart that it killed him that he allowed this to happen because the family member was someone that was close to him. The family member was someone that, well, at least he thought was close to him. I will say that. Now, being the man that he is, he kind of reminds me of me, an older version of me. I will say that he handled it in his own way, because if him and his daughter are talking in on speaking terms, then I'm assuming that he's dealt with it. But who the hell is Monique to bring up such a sensitive moment because of a contract issue? This is the perfect example of what a toxic black woman is. Monique, I don't know what happened to you because you weren't like this. Now, if I had any doubts in my mind about you overreacting and just being a bully, this is it right here. So now I don't believe, you know what, it's crazy. I'm not really a big fan of Oprah like that. But I honestly believe that Oprah, Deborah Lee, BET, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Netflix, anybody you came up against, I'm honestly believing that you were just being a bitch the whole time. I honestly believe that now. I believe in my heart now that you were being a straight bitch, because how dare you bring up this man's trauma? It is already hard enough for black men to express themselves and be transparent about their mistakes and their mental health. But here you are, and you got the nerve to close what you said with, we love us. Yes, exactly. You love you. Monique, you are selfish for that. I don't care what y'all feel about DL. You can say he's a Democratic boat liquor or whatever you just want to say. I'm not going to lie to you. This whole Trump shit fucked us all up. It did. We're all thinking differently now, and it's not. I don't like it. I don't like being in political turmoil with anybody. That's why I'm independent. I don't vote Democrat or Republican. I'm independent. I vote for whoever makes me feel good. But there's no reason for you to come after this man. And honestly, the comments on, I blocked her. I got her blocked on my Instagram. I don't even want to deal with Monique no more. I'm done. After this, I'm done with the subject. I even DM'd DL because I felt like I needed to give the brother some comfort. He may not ever read it, but I wanted to give him some comfort from one father who has made a mistake with his child to another father who's made a mistake to his father. He may not ever read it. That's fine. I know he's a celebrity. He has millions of followers. But I will always show support to another black man because you don't know what's going on. When those cameras and those mics get turned off, you don't know what's going on through his head. This man has a support dog for his father's death. This man he's wounded. And it sucks that Monique runs around preaching how she loves us and how she cares about us. But everybody that she goes against has given her a chance to redeem herself. I want you to understand something. T.S. Madison went out of her way to help Monique out. And what did she do? She went on stage to belittle D.L. Hughley and called him a homophobic slur and had the nerve to say she was just telling jokes. No, Monique, it doesn't work like that because if DL would have did any of that to you, if he would have went on stage and bashed you, called you a homophobic slur, talked about your mental health, talked about your twins being underweight and preemies or something like that, or something that just stung like that, and just started going in on your personal trauma. Oh, that's why you can't keep me. You've been married 2 times and almost got married a 3rd time, but then that didn't work out. Now you married to this dude. If he would have went in on you like that, he would have been wrong. Black men are strong, but we're not invincible, especially when it comes to mental health and feelings. I can be honest with y'all and tell y'all that. I think Monique is a horrible human being. She's a horrible human being. She is one of the worst I've encountered in a long time. And this is not because she's a woman. This could have been a man doing this, and it would have hurt my heart. Because as a black man, as a black person, as a human, nobody wants to get things like that thrown in their face. You are a professional entertainer, and you just told this professional entertainer who has opened up about his past trauma and his past issues with his children, his family, his wife, that he wasn't good enough. Why? Over a contract dispute, a couple of $1,000s? Because you got paid, right? You got paid, right? Monique, it didn't matter if you went on first before him or last. It didn't matter. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? I mean, you look at things like people were pointing out a lot of things. A lot of things are starting to come out in the open. Like, they showed, like, her request for when she's on, like, every celebrity, whenever there's like an event, they got certain things they want in the green room. She had a grocery list of things that she wanted. D.L. Hughley only wanted a little bit of liquor and a good cigar, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's a sensible thing. Working in this business, so far I've learned that promoters appreciate people like that. Hey man, just give me a couple boxes of chicken and something to drink, and and just let me have a moment. Just make sure I have a moment of peace before I go on. That's it. People appreciate that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember I actually worked on a concert with an artist, and I had to go and get the stuff for everybody. and like the artist was really cool with the promoter. His people were really cool. All they wanted was some fresh fruit, a lot of fresh fruit and some fruit juices and stuff. It didn't matter if it was canned or not. They weren't saying, I want organic from Canada or nothing like that. They were just like, just give us some fresh cold fruit juice, some fresh fruit, and just, maybe something where he can lay down. So they put like a cool couple of cots down for him to lay down. And it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Monique being a diva. And I want you to understand, there's a reason why Netflix didn't give her the money she wanted. When you're in comedy, you have to test your material out on the road. Monique came out of basically retirement, if you will, or she was just out of nowhere, out of obscurity, and just thought that she could get $30 million just because of her Oscar. But the thing is, she hasn't put in the work since the Oscar. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to understand, there's methods to the madness. The fact that they were wanting to entertain her was enough. But Monique, here she go, wanting us to boycott the damn Netflix, not thinking that, this might be all black folks have. That people got, because there wasn't no Disney Plus back then. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Netflix and Hulu. That was it. So you want people to give up their only entertainment for them and their kids because you're mad you're making this much money a day? She's making millions. She still gets paid. Don't be fooled. I'm highly disappointed in her, and I can tell it's weaning on her fans as well. It's weaning on her fans. It's weaning, and it's disappointing. As a black man, I'm hurt, and as a black woman, you should be ashamed. Monique, you got to get right, and until you get right, I cannot support you. I know I'm a small speck in your bank account, and I am someone who's a fan. My top 10 stand-ups is your stand-up, I Could Have Been Your Cellmate. I thought that was the most ingenuous thing you have ever done, to do something like that. Whenever celebrities go to jails and they give inmates that type of love, I love it. And I really admired you, Monique. I really did. This is no cap. I mean, everybody has their own little, whatever, as far as the queens of comedy, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Samora should have closed. I think Samora was just funnier than you, but it is what it is. I understood. The Parkers, I was a huge fan of that. You know what I'm saying? 3 Strikes, you were funny in that. All these movies you were in, everything you've done, it's been cool. Up until, you married that nigga. And I'm wondering if he's the reason why. Because your whole mindset changed, Monique. Between that and getting that Oscar, you have become a horrible person. And you're going to be your own demise. And we're going to see how long Daddy sticks around when Monique is not relevant anymore. You got 50 Cent on your side right now. Don't ruin that. That's all I got to say about this.